as always, first it is very important to develop the right motivation, which means to develop the thought of renunciation towards the whole samsara, and then to develop the infinite loving kindness and compassion towards all the sentient beings without any exception, and then to develop the wishing and engaging bodhicitta. So with this in mind, then we all should study on the remaining teaching of departing from the four attachment. So today we are going to study first on the compassion. So generally speaking, even the animals, they do have compassion to their own loved ones. I saw a picture of a deer bitten by two cheetahs from two sides. So what happened was she sacrificed her own life. So this mother sacrificed her own life to save or to rescue her own child. Whatever you call, I don't know how to say in English, but anyway, to save their child, her child. So she was very happy, or she was willing to sacrifice, and she is not running away from the cheetahs. She just sacrificed her own life to save her own child. So the mother deer has such strong affection and compassion towards their own child. To free their suffering, she sacrificed her own life. To free their suffering, or to rescue their life, or to liberate them from the death, she can sacrifice. So even these animals have affection and compassion. And in this world, there are many beings who have strong compassion. Actually, we all have compassion, whether it's towards one or two person, or many person, or many people, but we all have the compassion. Even non-believers in any religion, or even those who don't believe in any religion, and those who don't believe in any rebirth or any life before this or after this, but still they can be a compassionate being. They still wish to help poor. If they have wealth, then they wish to help poor, to liberate them from hunger and thirst, or from other sufferings. So actually there are many beings who really show their own compassion. They put their compassion into action. So now the teaching says the compassion towards all the sentient beings. So that kind of compassion is not something we can easily generate. That kind of compassion cannot be generated without following the religion, or without following the Dharma. So those who don't believe in any religion, they do have compassion, but no matter how strong they have they cannot extend their compassion towards all the sentient beings without any exception. That is something impossible. So, therefore, we must not mix compassion and the compassion that is taught in the teaching. General compassion is limited. Here, when we say about the compassion, it means limitless. It doesn't have any limits. The object is limitless. Therefore, the subject is also known as the limitless thought or limitless compassion. So, we need to practice this limitless compassion. So, to practice this, first we should generate on our mother, because it is easier for us to generate compassion towards our own mother. So, as it is mentioned in the practice of loving kindness, first we need to visualize the mother. We should visualize and identify the mother. We should always visualize the mother as a living mother. Although it might have passed away, they might have passed away, but we should always visualize as a living mother, and also with nice clothes and ornaments and with a happy feeling. That kind of happy mother we should visualize. So after visualizing the mother in front of us, then we should remember their kindness, mother's kindness. As I said in the previous teaching, just giving the birth to us, just keeping ourselves in mother's womb for 9 to 10 months, that itself is so kind for us. So, not only that, once we are born, if a just born baby was not taken care by a mother or others, then there's no way that we can survive. At that time, we can't talk, we can't eat, we can't walk, we can't do many things. We can't do almost all the things. So at that time, the mother shows us the affection, the compassion, and giving her own milk. And even it disturbs our mother's sleep, still she is happy to get up, and she is happy to disturb her own sleep and look after her own baby. So not only that, even in the daytime, no matter how busy she is, if there's a need for her own baby, then she just spend her time and energy towards her own baby and leaving behind all the other works, all the other actions. So mother has sacrificed her own time, energy, and her own good food or good clothes, etc., and spend more time, energy, etc. on the baby. So therefore, mother has bear great hardship to look after us, to look after the baby or us. So we should remember, and also mother is one that taught us how to talk, how to smile, how to walk, and save us from many danger places, or rescue us from many danger things, and help us in many different ways. So thinking of these kindness, then we cannot just stay without repaying their kindness. We must do something. And at the moment, we have this precious human life, and we know what is right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do. So when we have such ability, then we must use this ability, and we have the best chance or the best opportunity to repay their kindness. And the way we repay their kindness is to liberate them from the suffering and the cause of suffering. So we should visualize the mother as a living being, happy living being, and then remember their kindness. And then we should think, this mother is experiencing suffering and is not with happiness. So we must generate compassion towards our own dear mother, and we should wish that the mother be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. But at the moment, mother is suffering and has the cause of suffering, which means the negative actions. So with this situation, or when we see our mother with such situation, then we should generate stronger compassion, compassion from depth of our own heart. And then we wish, may our mother be free from suffering and the cause of suffering, etc. as we practice the loving kindness. Similarly, we can also practice the compassion. So the practice of compassion is very important. And when we practice the compassion, we should not think that I want to practice compassion because I want to be a good practitioner, because I want happiness in the future, because I want to gain liberation, because I want to attain enlightenment state. If our intention to practice loving kindness is based on I or myself alone, then it means, although we talk about compassion, we talk about liberating the mother from suffering and cause of suffering, etc. But deep down in our mind, we have very strong selfish thought. Then with such base or with such foundation, then no matter how much superficial practice of loving kindness or compassion that we do, there will be no great results in the future, because our base is not right. Our base is on selfish thought. So therefore, based on helping others, not thinking of oneself, focusing wholeheartedly towards the other and wishing them happy, wishing them to be free from the suffering and the cause of suffering. So we should generate such kind of genuine compassion. And once we can generate such compassion towards our own mother, then we should extend our compassion towards others. But before extending, first we should have compassion towards our own mother all the time, not sometime and sometime we don't have compassion, not like that. We should always have compassion towards our own mother all the time. And then we can extend our loving kindness or compassion towards our other beloved ones and friends, and then gradually to all the sentient beings without any exception. So the practice of loving kindness and compassion is for all the sentient beings. So this practice is very, very important. Without the practice of loving kindness and compassion, we cannot practice Mahayana teachings, or we cannot generate the bodhicitta. So therefore, we must have loving kindness and compassion. And we should practice these from the depth of our own heart. No matter wherever we are, no matter what time of the day it is or what time of the night it is, day and night, every day and night, we should practice these two thoughts or these two practices so that we can always have loving kindness and compassion to all. Sometimes we can practice, and sometimes if we cannot practice, then it means still there's a lot of space for us to improve. So the practice of loving kindness and compassion doesn't mean we should only practice when we are doing the meditation or when we are in the session. Whether we are in the session or off the session, whether we are in the meditation or in the post-meditative session, wherever we are, whatever we do, we should always have the loving kindness and compassion. If sometimes we practice loving kindness and compassion, and sometimes if we get angry towards others, if we have harmful thoughts towards others, then it means our loving kindness is not stable, our compassion is not stable. So unstable loving kindness and compassion means these are not genuine loving kindness and compassion, or these are not the real practice of loving kindness and compassion that we really need to do. So therefore, we should always practice the loving kindness and compassion to all the sentient beings without any exception. If we have these practices, then naturally we won't harm anybody. We won't show our anger to anybody. We will be a good person. We will be a person that can make oneself and others happy. We can be a person that is the source of happiness, that is the source of others' happiness. Not only oneself, but also the source of others' happiness. So we must practice these practices. And if we practice, then we can be happy and we can make others happy. And if we have the loving kindness and compassion, then it is for sure that such practice can always make us harmony. It won't make disharmony. It will always make harmony with everybody or anybody, irrespective of their nation, culture, walks of life, religion, etc. So we as a human being, the first and foremost, we should think that we are one of the sentient beings. We are one of the limitless sentient beings. Or, to be more particular, we should think we are one of the more than 7 billion people. And after thinking this, then we should think of our responsibility. Our responsibility is to help all the sentient beings, not only all the humans or animals that are in this world, but also to all the sentient beings without any exception. So if we have these genuine thoughts, then there's no way that we can harm others. There's no way that we can make suffering for others. So therefore, the practice of loving kindness and compassion are the source of happiness. From this origination, one can have, or we can have, the short-term and long-term happiness for all. So these practices are very important. And also in the Madhyamika Avatara, which was taught by the great Acharya Chandrakirti, he said the compassion is important in the beginning, and also it is important in the middle and also at the end. So in the beginning means when we enter into the Buddhist path, especially in the Mahayana path, we need this compassion. So it's like the seed to plant in the fertile ground. And then in the middle means when we are on the path, we still need the compassion. It is at that time it is like the right amount of water, the right amount of fertilizer that can help to grow this seed. Then at the end means when we reach the Buddhahood, at that time we still need compassion, because at that time the compassion is like the ripening result. So in the beginning and in the middle and also at the end, we always need the compassion. So this compassion is very important. And sometimes people might think the most important is to have a good thought, or to have a positive thought, or to be a good person. Good person is everything. Yes, it is very important to be a good person, that's right. But no matter how good you are, if the person has not practiced the infinite loving kindness and compassion, then it is not possible for that person to extend his or her own loving kindness and compassion to all the sentient beings without any exception. A person who does not practice Dharma, then such person can have loving kindness and compassion to hundreds of people or thousands of people or tens of thousands of people, etc., but not to limitless sentient beings. So that's the difference between the positive thought that is taught in the Dharma and positive thought that is not related with the Dharma. So therefore we should always have this kind of positive thought, limitless positive thought in our mind. In our mind, we can improve as much as we can. There's no end to improve until we become omniscient, until we become Buddha. So we should always try to remember these thoughts, and we should always put effort to practice these two thoughts all the time. So if we can practice all the time to everybody, then it means we are on the right path, we are on the right direction. If we think sometimes we can practice and sometimes we get angry towards this or that person, or we get jealousy thoughts towards this or that person, or sometimes out of dislike or out of anger or hatred or jealousy or any negative thoughts, if we criticize others, or if we try to harm others, if we try to deceive others, then it means these actions and these thoughts are opposite of loving kindness and compassion to all. So at that time, we should have the mindfulness and we should have the vigilance, so that even if we are going towards the wrong direction, then try to bring back our thoughts on the right direction from the wrong direction. So through this way, then we can improve, we can be a better person. So I personally think we should always have teacher, but it is not possible to have physical teacher all the time, but we should take our own mindfulness and our own vigilance and conscientiousness as our own teacher that can guide us and that can help us to avoid doing the negative actions, and that can help us to do more and more virtuous deeds. So anyway, this practice of compassion has great benefit, or we can say it has infinite benefit. And then based on this, we need to develop the bodhicitta. Generally speaking, there are two kinds, relative bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. But here, at the moment, we focus on the relative bodhicitta. And the relative bodhicitta has two kinds, known as the wishing bodhicitta and the engaging bodhicitta. For example, when we have a strong wish to go to Bodh Gaya, the most holy place for all the Buddhists, but just by having this wish, we won't reach there. We won't be there. So based on our wish, then we will put effort. We will prepare and take time to go there. And so through all these preparations and plans, then finally we can take the journey towards the Bodh Gaya, and then we can reach there. So wishing bodhicitta means the wish to attain Buddhahood. And engaging bodhicitta means in order to attain Buddhahood, we must practice. Just by having the wish, we won't be able to reach the enlightenment state. To reach the enlightenment state, we need to prepare. We need to engage in the Dharma practice. We need to go on the path, on the Buddhist path, which is the way to attain the enlightenment, or which is the way to reach the enlightenment state. So, therefore, these two are very important. We must have these two together. So, in the example, the wish, actually there are two kinds of wish. The wish that we have before taking the journey, and while we are taking the journey, we still have the wish to go there, go to Bodh Gaya. So, while we are going, if we change our mind, if we change our wish, then we might not continue our journey. So it is important to have the wish while we are taking the journey also. So similarly, this wish means mainly here it means the wish that we have while we are on the path, while we are engaging in the Dharma practice. We should have that kind of wish, because normally when we generate the wishing and engaging bodhicitta, we generate these two together. So we should have these two together on the path. And also, if we don't have this wish, this genuine wish, then we might not continue our practice. So it is important to have these two together at the same time when we are on the path. First, we have the wish, and then generate the engaging bodhicitta, or we should generate these two together and then have these two together on the path. Anyway, we should have these two on the path together. And then, when we are on the path, we need to practice. First, we need to practice the equality of self and others. Ourselves and others are equal, because we all have the same wish. We all wish to overcome the suffering, and we all wish to gain happiness. So we all have equal wish, or we all have this common goal to achieve. And not only that, for instance, like we, all the human beings, we all have the same feature, like one face, two hands, etc. Not only we all have the same wish, but also our feature in general is same. And from our appearance, it doesn't look fearsome. It looks gentle. We don't have claws or fangs like fearsome animals such as tiger, lions, etc. But if our mind is not controlled, if our mind is wild, and if we let our wild mind to do whatever this mind wish to do, then it can be a very dangerous. Human can destroy a lot. Human can kill many innocent people at the same time. But these fearsome animals, although they look very fearsome, but when they kill, they will kill one at a time, like lions and tigers and cheetahs and leopards. When they kill other animals for their own food, they kill one at a time. They won't kill many animals at one time. And human beings are killing others, and that also many people at one time, and that also out of anger or out of negative thoughts that we kill these innocent animals. So if we really can practice the equality, then before harming others, we should put ourselves as the object of our own harmful action. Then we can see how painful it is to receive such harmful actions. In the teaching it says, taking oneself as an example, we should not harm others. So this teaching is very important and very practical. So before harming others, just put oneself as the other being. Then see how we feel. Then we know how terrible it is to receive such harmful actions. So through the practice of equality, one can practice loving kindness and compassion to others. One can help others more than before or more than ever. So this practice is very important, the practice of equality. And then based on this practice of equality, then we need to practice the self-exchange, which means giving one's own merits, happiness, virtuous deeds, positive thoughts, all these good ones to others, and taking all the others' suffering, negative actions, negative thoughts and faults towards oneself. So wishing all our good ones be ripened on others, and wishing all their negative ones be ripened on oneself. So such practice is the practice to attain Buddhahood. Actually, all these Dhamma practices are to attain Buddhahood, but the practice of self-exchange is a very, very strong Dhamma practice. It has very strong effects. There's a story that through the practice of self-exchange, a person can accumulate great merit, and a person can purify many negative deeds that was committed in the past. So therefore, such practice is very, very important. So bodhicitta means to, here it means to develop the wishing and engaging bodhicitta and practice the equality and the self-exchange. And then also we need to practice the 6 perfections and 4 skillful means. So the main practice is to help others and to rescue others and to help others from danger. And to do this, we need to practice the sixth perfection and four skillful means. The sixth perfection means the perfection of generosity, the perfection of moral conduct, the perfection of patience, and the perfection of enthusiasm, the perfection of concentration, and the perfection of discriminative awareness or the wisdom. So these practices are important, and then also we need to practice the four skillful means like the practice of generosity, pleasant speech, and influencing others to practice Dharma, and also oneself engaging in the Dharma practice to set an example for others to practice. So these practices are very important, but as I said before, whether it's right or wrong depends on our motivation. The physical and verbal action will not determine whether the action is good or bad. Only our thought can determine whether such practice is genuine or artificial or fake ones. So therefore, we should always check or examine our own motivation all the time. And when we say, for example, like practice of giving or generosity, it does not mean all the givings are good. All the givings are the perfection of generosity. Because, for example, if one gives cow or goat or sheep or chicken to a butcher without getting any money, then it means you are giving, because you are not selling, you are giving. But this is not the right person to give, because if you give these animals to a butcher, then definitely this butcher will kill these animals. So you are causing their death. So such giving is causing these innocent animals' death. So such giving is impure giving, is improper giving. And also, if you give alcohol or drugs to others, then that's also negative. So not all the givings are positive, not all the givings are perfection. So we need to give the right object to a right person. And also, even though we give right object to right person, but just by this, we cannot say this is a perfection of generosity. It depends on our own motivation. If right object is given to right person with the right motivation, then it becomes a genuine perfection of generosity. But with the wrong intention, if we give the right object to a right person, then still it is not the perfection of generosity. So similarly, if we practice pure moral conduct or moral conduct and other perfections, if you do with right intention and if you do it in a proper way, then it becomes pure or genuine practices. And if you do with wrong intention or if you do in an improper way, then these practices will not become perfection. Instead, it will become impure or improper. So similarly, with four skillful means, we should always judge these actions through motivation and through proper actions, or how to say, whether it's a proper action or not. So anyway, whatever we practice, we should do it in a proper way with the right motivation. So with this, I conclude my today's session, and at the end we should always dedicate all our merits to attain Buddhahood for the sake of all the sentient beings, and especially we should dedicate all our merits for our gurus, long life, good health, and turn the wheel of Dharma far and wide always.